All right, let's jump right into Genesis 43. We are talking about a story that is just dripping with desperation, with fear, and really a massive gamble that could either be the salvation of a family or the thing that rips it apart for good. This goes way beyond just a simple grocery run. This is all about confronting a dark past and staring into a terrifyingly uncertain future.
So, let's just set the scene here, because it is bleak. The famine isn't a small problem. The text is very clear it was severe. All that grain the brothers brought back from that first insane trip to Egypt, it's gone. Done. The cupboards are bare, and the threat of starvation isn't some far-off idea anymore. It is literally at the door.
And this brings us to the impossible question, the one right at the heart of this whole chapter. What do you do? I mean, this is the dilemma facing the patriarch, Jacob, and every single one of his options is terrible. If they stay put, they all starve, period. But if they go back to Egypt, they have to risk Benjamin, the youngest, the last living son of his most beloved wife, Rachel. I mean, come on, that is a choice no parent should ever have to even think about making. So, Jacob, pushed to the absolute edge by the hunger of his family, he finally gives the order. Go back, buy more food. But, it's never that simple, is it? It's his son Judah who has to step up and deliver the brutal reality check, reminding his dad about that one condition, that non-negotiable rule laid down by the powerful, mysterious ruler of Egypt. And this right here, this just lays out the deadlock perfectly. On one side, you have Jacob's simple, desperate demand, just buy us a little food. But on the other, you have the ruler's ice-cold ultimatum. He couldn't have been clearer. If Benjamin's not with you, don't even bother showing your faces. The whole family is completely trapped between a father's fierce, protective love and this ruler's strange, unbending command. Oh, you can just feel the raw anguish in Jacob's words here. He lashes out. He blames his sons. Why? Why did you even have to tell him about Benjamin? For Jacob, this isn't just a strategic nightmare. It feels personal. It feels like an attack on the one precious thing he has left. His fear is so deep it just curdles into anger, and he's just looking for somewhere, anywhere, to place the blame. So the family is at a total standstill. They are paralyzed. Jacob's fear has a chokehold on everyone. And then, one son, Judah, steps forward. He gets it. He sees that arguing isn't going to work. He realizes that what his father needs right now isn't a better plan. It's a rock-solid guarantee. And he is about to make a promise that will be a complete game changer. And just listen to the sheer weight of this vow. This is so much more than Judah saying, "Don't worry, Dad, I'll watch him." No, he is putting his entire life, his legacy, his very soul on the line. He's saying, "I will personally guarantee his life, and if I fail, you can blame me and only me forever." It's this incredible, selfless act that is finally powerful enough to shatter Jacob's wall of grief and fear. So Jacob finally breaks. He agrees. But look at his plan. It's so meticulous, it's practically dripping with desperation. He's trying to control a situation that is completely out of his control. He's like, okay, take the best gifts we have, spices, nuts, honey, anything to make this guy happy. Take double the money, just in case, and absolutely you have to return that silver you found in your bags. Maybe it was a mistake. He's trying to cover every possible angle, but it's all just a lead up to the hardest part. Take your brother and go. And this line, wow, it's just utterly heartbreaking. It's the sound of complete and total surrender. After all the fighting, all the planning, all the fear, Jacob just lets go. He's done everything he can possibly do. He's essentially saying, if I lose my children, I lose my children. It's out of my hands. He's finally accepting the terrifying reality that he might lose another son. Okay, so the brothers do it. They follow the plan. They gather the gifts, the money, and Benjamin, and they head back down to Egypt. And there they are, standing once again in front of the powerful man they are so afraid of. The tension, you can imagine, is just off the charts. They've met his condition, but what happens now is anybody's guess.
Joseph sees them, and more importantly, his eyes lock onto his full-blooded brother, Benjamin, who he hasn't seen since they were boys. And his immediate order to his steward is, "Take these men to my house." Now, you and I might hear that and think, "Oh, an invitation to lunch, that's a good sign." But for the brothers, this was the absolute most terrifying thing he could have said.
And you really have to get inside their heads here. Their own guilt over what they did to their brother Joseph all those years ago is poisoning everything they see. They don't see an invitation, they see a trap. Their minds immediately jump to the worst conclusion. This is about the money. He's luring us away to ambush us, to make us his slaves, to take our donkeys. Their paranoia is just in overdrive.
So right when their panic is about to boil over, they confront the steward, and his response is just bizarre. He tells them, "Don't be afraid," and then he gives the strange, almost spiritual explanation that their god must have slipped some treasure into their bags. Then he says, "I got your payment, we're good." It's a mystifying answer that makes no logical sense, but somehow it calms them down. And then, for the final surprise, he brings out Simeon, the brother he'd been holding hostage.
So there they are. They're brought into this powerful ruler's home, Simeon is back with them, and they find out they're actually going to be eating lunch with the big man himself. The immediate danger seems to be gone, but they've just traded one kind of terror for a deep, unsettling confusion. They're officially in the lion's den, and things are getting weirder by the second.
And right here, we get the first real crack in Joseph's powerful, stone-cold mask. He comes home, he sees Benjamin, his little brother, from his own mother, and he just breaks. The text says he was so deeply moved, so overcome with emotion, that he had to physically run out of the room to find a place to weep in private. It's our first clue that there's a huge emotional story playing out just beneath the surface.
Now, to really understand how wild the next part is, you need a little bit of cultural background. In ancient Egypt, mealtime seating was a huge deal. There were strict rules. Joseph, as the top official, ate by himself. The other Egyptians sat at their own table. And the Hebrew brothers, they had a separate table too, because Egyptians considered eating with Hebrews to be detestable. This rigid social separation is what makes the next move so mind-blowing.
So the servants start seating the brothers for the meal, and they place them in perfect birth order, from Reuben, the oldest, right on down the line to Benjamin, the youngest. The text says the brothers just stared at each other, completely baffled. How in the world could this Egyptian ruler possibly know their exact family lineup? It would have felt like some kind of supernatural insight, and frankly, it would have been incredibly unnerving.
And the weirdness just keeps coming. Even with everyone sitting at their separate, culturally mandated tables, Joseph starts sending portions of food from his own exclusive table over to his brothers. This would have been a massive sign of honor, a gesture of favor that completely broke with custom. They're being treated like VIPs, but the whole thing still has the feeling of a very strange test.
And then comes the grand finale, the most puzzling part of the entire meal. Joseph is sending out these generous portions to all his brothers, but he pays very special attention to the one for Benjamin. Everybody else got an honorable serving, but Benjamin's portion, well, it was on another level entirely.
5 times. Not just a little extra, not double. 5 times larger than anyone else's portion. A number that specific, that over the top, can't be an accident. It's a statement. It is a deliberate, calculated move.
And this massive act of favoritism happens right in front of all the other brothers. Now, think about it. The last time a son of Rachel was shown that much blatant favor, what happened? His brothers sold him into slavery. Joseph is intentionally recreating the exact same emotional dynamic that led to his own betrayal years ago. So we're left with this massive question. What is he doing? Is this a test to see if his brothers have changed? To see if that old jealousy will flare up again over Benjamin? Is it some kind of warming? Or is it possible it's just a genuine, if totally extravagant, explosion of love for the little brother he thought he would never ever see again? The feast ends, they're all drinking and being merry, but that tension is still hanging thick in the air, leaving us all to wonder, what is this powerful, unpredictable man going to do next?